I'm in a sauna right now, and my thought process, since I'm talking about divorce, my thought process is I'm on a treadmill, I lift the little weights and so on, and it's been many, many years, many decades since my kids left the home and became independent. It's in the early 20s while they were in college. As you know, I talk about divorce and Father's Day is coming up, and I'm reflecting on what type of father was I. And a lot of it goes back to the way I was raised. One of 11 children, 8 boys, 3 girls. My parents, first generation Italia, first generation Polish, my mother. The way we were raised. You know, when I look back at our neighborhood, I mean, we were always the largest family. In fact, I never heard anyone having more than 11 kids till much later in my life. And in fact, I would be proud that I was one of 11 because it was abnormal in our part of the woods in St. Paul, Minnesota, which was blue collar. As I develop and create these videos, I keep going back to when I was married and when I had the children and the way I was raised and the way my ex-wife was raised and their foundation. And I always talk about the pillars, the pillars of success. Well, you could have success as a parent. And I believe not only as a businessman, I've been a success in parenting as a single parent. Because once I got divorced, I didn't remarry till 22 years later. And all my kids were married at the time. I really didn't want to bring in a blended family, additional children, and so on. I have 2 boys and a girl. And believe me, they're all different. They're all different, just like all 11 of us are all different. I started thinking about not only the foundation of our family values and so on, I started thinking about what are the 3 critical areas that you should consider before you marry, which I never did. But now, if I had an option to guide people or advise people on marriage, just like the church does. The church, when you go through the Catholic Church, they got an intake, they got retreats. It's pretty simple because once you get married, man, there's no rules. There's no guides of raising children. And then when there's 2 parents, a mother and a father, they might not even be involved at all. You know how it is in today's world. So I wanted to go to 3 areas that I believe are really critical, that nobody really addresses. Number 1 is religion. Why? Because if you have children and you talk about children, religion is very critical on how you're going to raise the kids. I was adamant about Catholic. Even though my first wife was Catholic, she was only going through the motions with me because once we got divorced, she left the church, my understanding from my kids. But guess what I did? I kept bringing my kids to Catholic Church as a family. It didn't matter to me what she was going to do. It mattered to me what I felt was the right thing because my successes were based on faith. That's how I made it through my divorce, was my faith. So religion is really critical as you're dating and you're looking at the families and, do they believe in God? Are they Jewish? Are they Catholic? Are they Christian? Buddhist? And by the way, we have all that in our family. When you got over 110, 111 descendants, we got it all. My dad used to say, we got white, black, polka dot. We got everything. And then you got to kind of let go. But while you're the father, in my case, while you're the father, I took it very serious to be a great father. Not a good father, a great father. Not a friend, a father, a dad. I used to tell my kids, man, I'm not your friend, I'm your dad. And I would see these guys when they became 18, 19, 20, or at colleges. They'd be drinking beer together. I was shocked when I first saw my son as a freshman, underage, drink beer in front of me. I was like, but this is a huge table at Madison on top of it, which was a big party school. So I was in denial many times, but I just felt like you need to respect. You need to respect your parents. You need to obey your parents. Honor your mother and your father. Even if they're not right, at least respect them. Don't demean them. Don't let them know, hey, you're uneducated or you're stupid or whatever. All the things that I thought. And then I find out, oh my God, they're the smartest people that ever lived. Okay? Now, we talked about religion. Politics. Politics is very important. I was raised as a very quiet conservative because our neighborhood, our blue-collar neighborhood and community was Democrat out of Minnesota, very Democratic. We were very quiet. My father was on his way to be an entrepreneur and a business owner, very conservative. We were raised to be very quiet, work hard, work and earn your merits. And that's what we were led by. My first wife, when I look back, and actually my second wife, when I look at their families, they were union, blue collar. They were so happy to get Social Security and unemployment. If they were injured, whatever they could receive in benefits was a huge deal. In fact, they banked on it. So I was kind of an outcast to the family, or I was considered James Bond. Because I was the outcast. I was the money earner. I was the breadwinner. And I was the golden goose. I think that's what they saw, especially for their daughters. Okay? I'm still in the sauna. I'm sweating it out, talking to you. So we have politics, religion. What are the three things that you don't talk about? Finance was something that nobody ever talked about. Nobody talked about their money. No one talked about their wills. No one talked about their estates. No one talked about money. And money is a big deal. We were raised to save. We were raised that 50% goes to the family when we were very young. We earned $100 a week at Paper Boys or whatever. $50 cash went on the table for room and board, no matter what age we were, as long as we were living in the home. Then later on, when we really looked at our careers, we looked at a pension. Yeah, I had a pension since I was 21. Then I had a Roth. Then I had an IRA and all the new rules because I've been in business for I'm going on 51 years in my career, and I'm still working. For money? No, not for money. I'm keeping relevant. This is a moneymaker. YouTube's a moneymaker for me. I'm on TikTok. I got my own store. I got my own Amazon store. I sell books and my guides. It's like selling a Bible. Whoever wants to believe in me, whoever likes this, I get paid. Paid by the minute. You know? So I'm just trying to give everybody a heads up that, listen, before you get married, before the woman of your, or the man of your future, look at their families, look at their foundations, look at their religion, look at their finance situation, or at least have some type of knowledge. You're going to be able to tell because they talk about it, especially at Thanksgiving and Easter and the holidays. You're going to see what's given, what's generous, and what's not. Yeah. Now, another big area is how many children do you want? Do you want to raise children? Do you want children? Are you going to be a homemaker or are you going to have a career? It could go both ways. You could be the man at home, but at least have that planned. Talk about it. It's very, very important. And you can't do this in 6 months or 3 months or whatever while you're getting high in Vegas or something like that. No. It takes years because, I keep telling people in my videos, I call it the 3 L's. You're going to lust someone first, like I would. Lust someone, then maybe I fall in love. But the problem is the third L. Lust, love, the third L, 1 + 1 = L3, which is litigation. That's my history. All my life from high school on, I've had lust on women and I've loved women. But I've only married twice in the church. And I've been in court twice for litigation. Will it happen again? I don't know. I'm 71. It's not a bad combo, though, the lust and the love part. I hope I don't get to L3. That's what this session's about, basically. Father's Day's coming up, and I'm looking at the way I raise my children as a single parent, and I am so fucking proud of what I did. And one of the biggest things was that I was a single parent. I had no interference. It was my rules, my foundation, my background, my religion, my finance, my politician positioning. Got it? Now, I wasn't good at the birds and the bees because my parents didn't talk to me about the birds and the bees. I mean, my parents had 11 kids. There was no discussion about, what do you call that? I can't even say it. Contraception. That's the other thing. We didn't cohabitate. And you talk about celibacy. Yeah, there was celibacy with the good girls, but not with the bad girls. And that's where I made a mistake. I think the bad girls were the best. You know why? They were honest. They were honest. And you didn't have to go into the love stage. They might love you, though. But if I couldn't reciprocate, I became friends with these people, but very smart. Women are very smart, but you got to get the right one that has good values, good, strong values, and is not a taker. That's the other thing. I pick takers. My parents were givers. They sacrificed their background. I picked takers. And I learned too late. 12 years and 12 years. I was ashamed of divorce. I was ashamed. But today I'm proud. And I'm proud I could share this with everyone. I'm going to go see my brother. We're going to go have some Italian food, break bread, and maybe have a glass of wine or two. I feel good. I got a great team, and they help me a lot. They help me a lot, especially be focused. But I have so many stories, so much experience. They're all younger than me, and they must be listening to this stuff going, Rock's crazy, man. He's had a crazy life. Well, that's why I got a couple books out. That's why I got all this content. And I'm hoping that'll go into a screenplay someday. It'll be cool. I'm already thinking about who should play me. I got more stories. But don't forget, religion, politics, finance, children, and be careful of the 3 L's, okay? Otherwise you end up in litigation like me. God bless you. I'll talk to you soon.